morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, March 14th, 2014. Well, we've been saying for a few days that it would not be a surprise to us if the Malaysian airliner that's been missing turns up in North Korea. It may yet. Apparently what's going on now is that the authorities who are searching for the plane, as well as the American intelligence community, is suspecting that the plane in fact might have been hijacked. More evidence has come out today that the plane in fact was flying a very prescribed route along the Southeast Asian Airlines, a route that would typically take a jetliner from Southeast Asia to either the Middle East or to Europe. These would be aviation corridors N571 and P628, reserved for commercial planes flying that route. Also, it has now transpired that a human physically shut down the various communications tools that were to keep in contact with the ground, including the transponder as well as several of the radios. It is now confirmed, however, that the plane continued to ping satellites maintained by both Boeing and by Rolls-Royce, but the Malaysian airline had not subscribed to those services, so as a result there was no handshake coming from the ground. However, because of the satellite pinging, authorities are able to determine that the plane was in fact airborne. The Malaysian Aviation Authority, as well as the military radar group, is saying that the plane was flying west along those prescribed aviation corridors at a level altitude and having incurred a turn that could only have been made if the pilot or co-pilot or somebody else on board the plane had turned the plane and was flying it. Malaysian authorities have said that they are beginning to investigate the passengers and may search the home of the pilot today. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is meeting with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in London today, in a last-ditch effort to avoid a problem regarding the Crimea. A plebiscite is scheduled in the Crimea on Sunday to determine whether or not the Crimea should secede from the Ukraine and become part of Russia. The Russians are massing significant military forces on the border with Ukraine. There was a strong 6.3 earthquake that struck off southern Japan earlier today, injured 17 people. There was no tsunami warning or reports of any damage. Authorities are saying that residents should be on the alert for rock slides. Yesterday at Philadelphia International Airport, a U.S. Airways Airbus 320 jet coming down the runway headed for Fort Lauderdale lifted up into the air. The nose went up into the air, and then apparently a wheel problem developed, forcing the plane to crash back down on the runway. The nose gear then collapsed. The emergency slides were deployed, and all 154 people on board were able to evacuate safely. The richest man in Northern Ireland has been killed in a helicopter crash along with 3 other people. This would be Conservative peer Lord Ballymond. Mr. Ballymond, before he became a peer in 2004, was known as Edward Hawhey. Edward Hawhey had a fortune of about £650 million through the sale of a successful veterinary pharmaceutical business. Now, Hawhey is a well-known name in Ireland. We're checking this, but the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Ireland was Charlie Hawhey. It's not known whether or not the two men were related. Here's an interesting story, that big security theft, Target department stores over the Thanksgiving weekend. The security breach that led to the theft of those 40 million credit cards was not the result of poor security. The company's security systems, in fact, had detected the hack as soon as it begun, but nothing was done until weeks later. According to a news report that was on Bloomberg Business Week, Target installed FireEye malware software about 6 months before the attack. The FireEye malware software detected the upload of the hackers' malware immediately, and alerts were issued to the Target IT staff saying that malware was being put onto the system. Meanwhile, the FireEye security software has a feature that was disabled that would have automatically eradicated the malware as soon as it was put on. Because that feature was disabled, the malware was able to be installed into the Target systems. What's more, Target also had semantic antivirus installed, and that too detected suspicious activity. Why did Target ignore these alerts? The answer is not clear, but Bloomberg theorizes that perhaps the security team didn't fully trust the new security system, or that maybe a job vacancy was to blame. Well, there's sure a job vacancy now. The head of IT at Target quit last week. The Boston Marathon anniversary is coming up, but some businesses are reporting that they're facing tussles with their insurers over business interruption claims as a result of the bombing at the last Boston Marathon. So far, insurers have paid about $1.9 million in bombing-related claims over compensation related to business interruption. Insurers have rejected nearly half of 133 bomb-related claims, specifically citing losses from business interruption. 11 of 27 claims have been rejected regarding commercial property damages. I was in Boston this summer, and in that area where the bombs exploded, I actually went into several of the stores, which were open in a rudimentary fashion. There's not that many stores there, perhaps maybe a dozen. Most of them were open, only one was completely boarded up, but it's something that should be looked at. We will see you on Monday. It's a weekend. Hopefully it'll be a warmer one. And if we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you then.